financial roadmap for his future. Wow, that's great. Sounds like I need to give her a call. Yes, she definitely helped our son find the perfect college, meet all his deadlines, and help us feel less anxious about the whole process. You need to reach out to her. Just check out educationprepcenters.com and set up a complimentary assessment with Dr. Gina. You'll be so glad you did. Education Prep Centers, college admissions made easy.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair, the world's lightest wheelchair, is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to No Judgment here. I am your host, Tish Ross. Mental health. Ooh, used to be a taboo word, right? I think we're coming out of that now, and thank God. Because of COVID, seclusions, and all the things, mental health, depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, just all things mental health. I'm so happy to have my guest here tonight because we have an opportunity as a community, as a city, to attend one of the most amazing mental health conferences. Actually, I think it's probably one of the first that I am aware of, to kind of help us unpack and dive into ourselves, bring spouses. So much information tonight. I can't wait for my guests to share, but we don't have to do this alone. And one of the things that I was thinking is, I used to be in a place, and I'm going to let my guest speak, but I was in a place where before I was going to walk into a women's conference, not a mental health conference, but even just a women's conference. And because of my own anxiety, I almost missed out on some of the best information and tools ever that I could have ever been blessed with. And so I thank God for allowing me to push the doors open and walk through. Yes, I walked through with anxiety, but I walked through knowing that God was going to do his greatest work on me, and I came out so much better, and I felt so much better. So I do have that question to one of you or all of you, maybe even to our licensed professional, Rachel. When someone is thinking, or anyone that's listening or will listen, if they're listening and they have the thought, I don't want to go because people might think something's wrong with me. Or what if someone sees me there that I know? Well, my answer to that is they're there too, but there's nothing wrong with you. I mean, all of us have little issues and things that we work with, or trauma, things that have happened to us. That keep us from being our most authentic self or the best version of ourselves. So I want to introduce our guest. They're here to explain how we can attend RISE, the mental health conference that is coming in October. And I want to introduce Sara, or kind of let everybody introduce themselves and share a little bit about your personal struggle with mental health. And Sara, I want to know how this came into fruition, how all of this started, and then we'll move on to our next cast. Okay.
Hi, y'all. I'm Sara. I own Sara Nicole Yoga, which is just a local thing where I teach yoga. And I was diagnosed with bipolar and insomnia when I was about 11. And when I was around 21, I said I didn't really want to feel that way anymore. And so I was curious, what could I do to not have to rely on heavy medication that just kind of numbed me? And so I did a lot of work to get the doctor's approval to get off of that medication. And since then, it's been like mind blowing. And so that was 10 years ago. And it started happening lately where I feel this urge to do something with it. So last year I wrote a book. It's called So That. And I talk about how God brought me through things so that I could do other things with them. And then that really came true in January of this year, when I felt this little nudge to do something more. And it was taking my story and applying it to tangible tools. And so first it was just going to be like a fair, like a vendor fair. And then I kept hearing God say, like, you need to go bigger. This needs to be more impactful. What can you do to really help people and possibly save lives? And it's turned into this conference. It's been really cool. And we'll get into details of how, but constantly this year, it's been like, this is really happening. And the whole goal with this RISE thing is to equip people with tools. It's to bring hope and to spread peace. And it's happening, and I'm glad to just be a part of it. And one thing I wanted to say about what you're talking about, Tish, is when you go to a conference or you go somewhere and you've got anxiety, this event was planned by someone who experiences a lot of mental health struggles, even to this day. And so all along the way, every time we've done something, I take a little check-in and I'm like, well, how would I feel if I was an attendee here? Because I know that I've got severe anxiety even to this day. And I still struggle with my mental health. I'm off of medication, and I use the tools that I have to the best of my ability. And when I say the tools, it's going to be different for every person, but I use my tools that I think God handed me to help myself heal, to help me heal with my mental health struggles. And so everything with this conference has come back to, well, how would I feel, or how would he feel, or how would she feel who's struggling in their mental health? So please know, like what Tish said, if you're anxious, if you're worried about judgment, there's no judgment. And it's going to be a safe space for every person. And we're working really, really hard on the backside of things to make sure that every piece of this conference comes together and feeling like a safe space. So we're taking a lot of things into consideration.
I love that. And that was one of my biggest thoughts and questions as a person that suffers with anxiety as well. And the cool thing is, like you just said, it is being planned and really well thought out by people that do suffer with anxiety, mental health, and use their tools to live day to day. So that's fantastic. I think hearing that is very encouraging and reassuring that, I can do this. I can walk in. I mean, there are people that are like me that are going to be there. So awesome. Thank you, Sara. I'm super excited. All right. My next guest is going to be chatting with us. Ashley, can you introduce yourself and all the things?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Ashley Vasquez. I am one of the mental health project coordinators at the Reach Across Johnson County Coalition. That's a mouthful, but so just a little background. I was diagnosed with depression at 19, and I really worked through it I was on medication, and I got off medication, and I felt like God helped me a lot. And then 2 years later, my ex-boyfriend took his life, and I think at that point I went through it all over again, and that's what brought me to counseling. And before then, I thought that counseling was I thought you went to counseling if there was something like really wrong with you. And everyone told me that I needed to go to counseling after this traumatic event. And I'm still seeing that same counselor to this day because she helped me so much and she taught me so many tools. And during that grief, that initial grief, I was spoken to several times that circumstance the Lord was going to use, and part of my purpose was going to be mental health related. And I had no idea how that would look because I thought that was just being a counselor and I didn't think I would ever be a counselor. But anyways, so I'm really passionate about it because not only have I experienced it, but I've lost someone that I really cared about to it. And I want to help others not make that same decision. And I think everyone struggles at some point or another, if not, maybe not depression or anxiety, but I believe everyone at some point feels sad or lonely or just stressed and overwhelmed. And that's why I believe that this conference is for anyone, because we can all learn some tools as to how to cope with the junk that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. So my coworker Nikki met Sarah. I forgot how y'all met.
I have no idea. Just like we know a bunch of people in common pathway, probably.
So yeah, Sarah presented the idea of this conference to Nikki, and Nikki brought it to us, and we were all super excited, and we just jumped on board. And this was like from the beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to be a part of this. Like, I want to take over. Like, I really wanted to just throw myself in this because this is a big deal, and I'm hoping and praying that it helps so many people.
I think it will. I mean, the people that will attend it will help. And I love that you said there was something, and I had just had a thought in my head that, you don't have to be clinically diagnosed with something. That you had mentioned that we all feel sad sometimes. We all feel the junk that we go through in our lives, maybe certain seasons. And I think I know someone in particular, and he's been very open about it publicly on Facebook, my son, who is 27, who is out of college, but in that space of, what next? You've been in school your whole life, right? Kindergarten through graduation, and then you take a year off and kind of hang out, and then you go into college for 5 years, and then you get out, and then it's like it's almost comparable to maybe someone who might be in prison, right? You live a prison life, and then you get out into the real world, and you're like, I don't know how to live this real life. Or someone who is in the military. I had someone speaking that they went from high school to military, and once they got out of the military and came into society, they didn't know how to live. And so then they suffer with depression and PTSD because they don't know how to get acclimated. So you don't have to be clinically diagnosed with anything to come to this conference. The other thing too is, I know that I had chatted a little bit about how God shared things with me. You don't have to be a believer to attend this conference. This isn't a religious conference. I know that some of us we share our relationships and our experiences and that our go-to, but you don't have to be a believer. It is held at a church. It's not affiliated with the conference. And so we're just blessed that we had a venue that we were able to have this, or that you were able to have this. And so I appreciate you saying that. That makes so much sense. It actually makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. And I even thought, my son needs to register and attend. That would be so great for him. So thank you so much, Ashley. All right, I want to introduce my next guest, who is actually one of the guest speakers at the RISE, the Mental Health Conference, and that is licensed professional Rachel Henning. She is a counselor. And Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe what to expect at the conference from you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been a licensed professional counselor and seen clients for the last 16 years. And part of what motivated me to go into the mental health field was my own struggle with anxiety since I was a child. I didn't know at the time, what my diagnosis was, but I would have panic attacks with puking, just a lot of generalized anxiety, imagining worst case scenarios at a very young age prior to any trauma that I ended up unfortunately later experiencing in life that just added to some of those things. And so I experienced a lot of healing through counseling myself, which just motivated me to want to help others and to be able to comfort and equip others with some of the things that I was equipped with. So unfortunately, there is a huge stigma with mental health still. It's getting so much better, because I can tell you just based on the clientele that, might have come into my office 10 years ago versus the clientele that was coming in 5 years ago, it's become a lot more multi-generational. And so we're seeing a lot of people who might have had parents who just didn't really know how to utilize counseling, or thought, like Ashley had said earlier, that it's only for very clinically mentally ill patients, and that it wasn't for the everyday person who just gets stuck, which is what I would tell my clients many times. And so something that I like to say and just remind my clients of when they are a little skeptical of counseling, if it's their first time, or maybe they're going to this conference for the first time, is, unfortunately, mental health has got this bad rap, but we would never say the same things or expect something different from someone who needed physical help. So if you have diabetes and you need insulin for your body to work the way it is designed to work well, you would never look at someone who needed that insulin as weak, or someone who couldn't just, pull themselves up by their bootstraps and deal with it, or just get over it, or just stop being anxious, or just stop being depressed. You would have a lot of compassion for that person, and you would encourage them to utilize the resources that are available to them. And mental health is no different. There is a very big physical component to our mental health. When you feel anxious, your body is going into fight or flight. And so your brain is telling your body that you are in real danger. And so if you've ever had a panic attack before, or if you've ever felt so depressed that you physically couldn't get out of bed, those physical symptoms are real. They are real, and they're a part of your body honestly protecting itself sometimes, or your brain and body not lining up quite right. And so you have to do that kind of work to get your body back down at a resting state. And I think we're going to hear about that at the conference from several speakers, several breakout sessions about the importance of that blend of body and mind. But I'm specifically going to be talking about emotion regulation. And so emotions are often seen as the enemy by people. You hear from people like, okay, I thought I could hold it together. I'm going to try to hold it together, or I'm going to try to not cry, or I'm so mad at myself for getting angry. And we see them as an adversary rather than something that tells us and gives us information about what we either need to do, say, take care of, or maybe just a response that we have to a situation that we need to look at further. And whether you're coming in for counseling or coming into the conference with anxiety, depression, grief, or any kind of other mental health issue, emotions play a huge role in how you feel physically and how you feel mentally. And so one of the goals is to really equip people with practical tools that they can take home with them that day, and tools that they can also pass down to their family members. So what I love about some of these emotion regulation skills is that you can teach them to your children. Mental health with children is not as different as we think it is. A lot of times it's a lot about the language that we use.
Mhm.
And so just putting that language in terms that they can understand. And like I mentioned before, panic attacks, puking was a huge part of my childhood, is still a part of my life. I am someone who is on medication, and I'm a huge fan of medication for clinical diagnoses that require it. Some people are able to get off of it and do so well, and some people are not.
Mhm.
And I think there can be a lot of shame if you cannot. And I'm here to tell you that it's okay. Sometimes people have a history or a genetic history of high blood pressure or
Mhm.
high cholesterol, and they can do all the exercise and all the dieting and still find themselves with those high numbers. And so there are some of us that will continue to use medication. And I would never scoff at that, because you still have to use skills too. It's not one or the other, it's always both.
Yes.
So when my son, I have two children, when my second son was born, and he was getting into toddler years, he actually started having panic attacks and puking,
Mhm.
just like me, same age. And this time, as a parent, I was equipped with how to help him, because mommy just happens to be a professional in that area. But my poor parents had no idea what to do with me. And they did the best they could with what they had.
Mhm.
But I think my hope in these sessions is that even as a parent, that you can take this home and really begin to equip your child, because where my son is now as a 12-year-old is so much further along than where I was at his age. Just even his own awareness
Mhm.
of, okay, that's my anxiety talking. I don't have to listen to that, and I don't have to do what it says,
I love that. And I appreciate you sharing that, because I can honestly say both of my children are actually on medication. And I think my son kind of was shameful in the beginning. He just didn't want to have anything to do with it. In fact, he's just been on it maybe 3 weeks. He's 27. He was the stigma. My daughter, when she was in 6th grade, and I knew that I was anxious, and I knew that it was genetic. But my daughter started throwing up every single day. She was in her 5th or 6th grade. And at first I thought, oh gosh, do you have a flu or a stomach bug, or what's going on? And then she was having a problem. She thought she was having a problem with her relationship with her teacher, even in 5th grade. And so I said, okay, let's see, maybe we can get a different connection. Maybe a different teacher would help you. So the school was lovely, and we put her in a different class, and she was okay for like the first couple of days. And then the throwing up and all that started all over again. I was like, there's something going on. And so to this day, I mean, she's had panic attacks and that kind of thing. So wow, that is going to be so helpful to parents. So, and again, to sort of reiterate what Ashley said, you don't necessarily have to be dealing with an issue right now yourself, but even parents could be coming to equip themselves. 'Cause boy, I wish I would have been, better equipped as well when my little was in 5th grade and having these issues.
Right. And there's no classes for this, right? Like
Right.
you don't go to parenting school. And even as a child, I think about what would it have been like had I not had counseling training. This type of conference is the perfect opportunity to resource and equip yourself, because many people may never walk into a counseling office, and that's okay. But they can walk into a conference like this and take what they need and walk away with some really powerful skills and tools. And so I would just encourage anyone who's on the fence about it to take that leap, say yes. And it's one of those things we don't regret. Or we usually will regret saying no to something, but after something's over, and being an anxious person, I understand this as well. After it's over, you're like, oh, I'm so glad I pushed through that anxiety, because I would have missed out on all of this information. I would have missed out on being able to capture that feeling of, I'm not as crazy as I thought I was. I'm actually not alone. And shame tells us that. Shame says, there's something wrong with you or you're the only one. And this is the type of place that you can really find some community and really kill the shame that lies to you.
Absolutely. I mean, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and how many guest speakers are you going to have?
We have
5.
5.
Five
Yes,
guest
that's a count.
I mean, just even hearing
I
you
know.
speak, I'm feeling like better about myself.
too.
You know, I'm thinking,
Parenting thing for sure. Like
yes,
I love
I'm
it.
serious. Like I have the chills, and I think that's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
Mhm.
It's going to be amazing. I encourage you, if you're listening right now, just come. I mean, parent, or maybe kind of been noticing a little bit of something, feeling not great about some things, or going through a season and you're not sure, what can I do to get through this season? This is for everybody.
Mhm.
This is for men, women, and I'm going to let you touch base on registration. I actually put the link. So, and I also have some comments. So before we
Yeah,
go any
let's do it.
further, I'm going to read some of the comments. If you're listening and you have comments or questions for Sara, or Ashley or Rachel, please put them in the comments. We are here to answer any questions that you may have about the conference. It is not limited to men or women. It's not limited to just a certain county or city. I mean, all are welcome. And let's see, I'm going to read a couple of conferences. Erica Shoelover, I'm not sure which one of us was preaching, but she said, yes, preach. Amy J. Allen says, Sarah Nicole Tynan, loving this. Erica Shoelover again says, just getting that checkup and establishing a relationship with someone in the event you do have a traumatic event or need. That is true. Mike Ross says, I've witnessed firsthand of the torture that one who suffers with depression and ADHD. It's a roller coaster of emotions for all involved, from the one who cares and loves the one suffering, and the one who suffers with depression. You just wish you could fix it and take it away, while the one suffering just wants to be what they think is normal. What is normal? Sadly, I am a survivor to suicide. His wife committed suicide, left with unanswered questions. Thank you, Mike, for sharing that, because that is true. This may even be for people that have family members or a spouse
A
or children or a friend that are going through this, and you just don't know what to do. You just don't understand. Come. This could be a great thing for you to gain information and education and take some of those toolkits and maybe help that person that didn't come.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about registration and who this is for, what
Yeah.
it costs, and all those things.
Oh yeah, the cost, you guys. Y'all know how much it costs to come to our conference? Nothing. It's totally free, and that's a big deal for this, because a lot of people
So
aren't
big.
even able to get into therapy these days, because I know they have financial offerings. Sometimes there's a wait list of 6 months. But with this, you're going to be meeting people that are going to be like your safety net for when you are struggling and you can't, are we good? Okay. So the people, who is this for? This is for any person. I think parents are going to be really equipped here. I think there's a lot of tools for parents, younger parents, older parents, maybe not parents, literally anyone. It's men and women. There's going to be a variety of speakers that touch on different tools. So I wouldn't say there's anybody that's not welcome. We're going to have we are going to have optional worship at the end of the conference. So if you are a believer, stick around for that. But anybody is welcome here, and you're going to get contacts, resources, physical tools, tangible tools. You're going to get to meet people. And did we mention there's free childcare? So that's a big deal. So if you're a couple, one thing that I was telling the girls about is like my husband and I, we really like to agree on how we're going to parent our children, especially with the emotional struggles. I'm so excited about that. But could you imagine sitting in this place next to your spouse and being like, oh my gosh, babe, did you hear that? We could do that with our children. We could do that with us as a couple. So anybody's welcome. And if you guys are a couple, if you've got kiddos, bring them, just register. It's in the registration link, which is on the comments. So register your kids to be watched, come together, sit together, and learn together.
My goodness gracious. I am so excited. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. We have so much more to share. You guys come on back.
Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog.
I'm Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog. You know, when I get the hankering for a hot dog, I go to Cleveland, Texas. Just a couple blocks off the square, they got Loafing Dog. They got the Neely Dog, the Mary Sunshine Dog, the Casey Dog, and the Shirley Dog. Why, they even got the Pacer Dog, the Brooklyn Dog, and the Jim Dog. Can't forget the Shane Dog, or the Joy Dog, and the Monty Dog. I like that fool. The Nakia Dog and the Braxton Dog round things off. Why, they even got a kids menu too.
Loafing Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleveland, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone numbers 817-556-1040.
This is Wilfred Brimley. And don't forget, Loafing Dog won't give you diabetes.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leach Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson, Cleveland, Texas. Leach Brothers has been family owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
The voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
We are back. I got so excited I forgot that I was supposed to read this radio or this commercial. So I was all excited about the conference. Y'all, you need to come. Anyways, JOCO Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 days a year on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen or watch, simply go to tuneinjoco.com to choose where and how. The JOCO Community Radio app is now available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more on jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 844-TEXHAIL. That's 844-839-4245. We are back to the second half of the show. Time sure does fly when you're having fun. Who knew that talking about mental health would be so exciting and fun? Y'all, I'm serious. Come join us. There was another comment on here. Anybody listening, take advantage of this great opportunity. You are not alone, nor the only one. Connect and learn from others just like you. Help yourself and help yourself, and you may be the one who helps someone else. That is so true. That is so true. And I just like we were chatting before, even if you're not experiencing anything yourself, I mean, who knows if you might in the future, but if you have a friend or you have children and you're not sure how to handle or deal or speak to, you don't understand, what a great opportunity to come and at least, try to gain some understanding, maybe take some tools home that you can possibly use. Because I know that, even with my husband, and when we first met, I was telling him all the things of my past and how I dealt with certain things. And it's not something that you can love away, love is greatly appreciated and prayers are as well. I mean, I thank God that I have someone who loves me, who understands me, or at least tries to understand what I'm going through. And I'm sure that at times it could be frustrating for them because they do love you so much. They want to take that away. Unfortunately, and I'll speak for myself, unfortunately, that wasn't something that Mike could do for me. I actually had to go to counseling, and I had to go to a doctor, and I had to get on medication. And those two things go hand in hand. It's not take a pill and everything's going away for me. And it wasn't just go to counseling and everything's going to go away for me. I actually had to do both, and I continue to do both. And so I think this is, like you said, just a great opportunity. The fact that it's free is absolutely incredible. I mean, I don't think that I can stress that enough. If you're listening and you're just like, man, like Sara said, I can't get into the doctor. I can't afford to get into the doctor yet. How can I maybe work through some of these things until I can? This would be a great first step. This would be just so amazing. And if you're not thinking about coming, but you're listening, share this with a friend. Share this post, and the conference link is in the post, and we'll continue to post that so that they can take advantage of this great opportunity. So, Sara, you were talking about before the commercial break. You were talking about that registration is free. They just need to go on and register.
Yes, please register, just so we can prepare if there's going to be more. We need to know that there's going to be how many's going to be there.
Yes.
So yeah, the registration link is there. So make sure you guys are doing that.
And the link to register
CHILDCARE.
their children is through the registration link.
Yep.
And please register your children. You have to register your children
Mhm.
so that they can staff appropriately as well. And that is free too.
Yeah.
I mean, man.
It's coming together because this is so needed.
Yes.
And like you were saying, I don't know that there's ever been another mental health conference before. And I'm hoping that this will be a ripple, that this will, and that's kind of like our logo. It's the rainbow, but it also looks like ripples, which is really cool. I hope this will be something that ripples out, and it gives people, I hope that there's other people in our community that get inspired by this and go, well, I want to be that positive ripple. How else can I keep helping people in the mental health industry or people that need help in that? And if you didn't know, we rise by lifting others. So if you know someone who's, like you were saying, needing help, come for them, be that support. And like my husband could touch on this. He doesn't struggle with his mental health, but he married someone who really struggles. And he's the kind of person that would benefit from being an attendee, of going, you know what, I don't necessarily struggle with my mental health, but my best friend does or did, and my wife does. And anyway.
Yeah. So attending for them, or
Yes.
even encouraging them that I'll come with you.
Yep. I'll hold your hand. One of the
Yes.
first things we said with this was we wanted to just like link arms with the community. We wanted to be like, hey, I'll take you along this journey and make you feel safe and welcomed. So that's that. But breakout sessions. So we have all of the sanctuary sessions where we're going to have like Rachel, we're going to have some other speakers come and talk on like big generic kind of topics that cover a variety of mental health. And then we have our breakout sessions where we're going to have more specific options. So there's going to be an art therapy session, a brain-based skills session, a self-love cycle session, and then an Enneagram session. So there's going to be 4 different things, and you will have an opportunity to attend all of them. You will choose those breakout sessions the day of the conference. So don't think you've got to figure that out ahead of time, or don't worry about how that's going to work out. It's going to work out. We've got a really great system in place. So when you guys show up for the conference, once you're registered, you'll just come to entrance number 1 at Pathway and pick out those breakout sessions. We'll get you guys set with that. And then once you arrive, you're going to receive a bag with a shirt, with a notebook to take notes, with all kinds of things. And then you're going to have the ability to load that bag with tangible tools.
My goodness. I'm coming.
Yeah.
I mean, and so self-love. That is so huge, right?
That breakout session is going to be really neat. Yeah. Really needed.
Because I think, a lot of people say it and it may sound overused, but it is the truth. In order to love others well, you have to love yourself well. And I think people think sometimes that that's kind of selfish to love yourself, but it plays a lot on your, like you were saying, Rachel, a lot of your physical health too. Like if you suffer with depression, anxiety, or you loathe yourself, or you don't have that self-love, that then creates physical limitations and disabilities, heart issues. I understand stress, things like that.
And it manifests in the body. I've been saying in my yoga classes that I teach, people will come and I'm like, hey, you're here for you. This is a self-care time. Be present. But if you love yourself, it ripples out of you. And if you're here for this hour of self-care, be here so that you can then go and love others deeper because you love yourself.
Yes.
So it's that ripple effect of continuing.
Absolutely. So when people are registered, because I'm thinking of even myself as a registered person in a minute, when you walk in, do you have, I mean, we don't have tickets, or is there a check-in table? Do we just walk in, or how does that work out?
So whenever you walk in, there will be a check-in table, and it will go based off your last name. So sign in here if your last name is from A to whatever and so forth. Once you check in, you'll move on to the next table where you will grab a badge. So the badge will have like the schedule on the back of it. And then at the next table, you will sign up you get the choice of one breakout session out of the 4, just to make the space for 350 people if that many people do end up showing up, which we hope that many people show up. And at that point, you will also receive your stuffed bag where then you can take on. And once you move past all of those tables, you will arrive into the foyer, or what we call the crossway. And there will be vendors, resources, and like she mentioned, our toolkit table. So there will be resources such as free resources that a lot of people just don't know about. So they're local, and maybe it's a free mental health service like counseling. There are free counseling services that will be there. Or we have Cook's Children coming, Texas Health coming, just a variety of resources that you may not know about. So just to bring some awareness to those. And then we'll also have some people selling fun things like artwork and such. And then at our toolkit table, we'll have a bunch of items like she mentioned. For example, one I was really excited about is Cards Against Anxiety, which I had never heard of until we were looking on Amazon for some things. And it is so cool. But basically, it's like the game Cards Against Humanity, but it's Cards Against Anxiety. And each card actually has real tips and tricks on how to help your anxiety. So that's one of our items that people can stash up on. Whenever you come to the toolkit table, there will be, it's either 6 or 9 items that you can choose from, and you'll get to choose 3. So like 2 small items and 1 big item. And when I say big, I mean like more expensive. So those are some things that you can walk home with that day and improve your mental health. So
that is so amazing.
Yes,
wow, you
we're
guys, what a
excited.
great partnership. And
Yes.
that you guys have put
Amazing.
everything together. What about if someone's hungry?
Oh, good point. Yep.
So we'll have a barbecue set up, like assembly line. And then outside we will have 2 food trucks, Taps
International. And I believe the menu's posted on our Facebook. You can already see that. Bondi Bowls.
So you want to get something healthy. There's your acai bowls. And we'll have an ice cream truck. So,
or you can bring your lunch.
Or you can bring your lunch, which we do encourage so that you can save some time, save yourself from having to stay through the lines, and then you can go visit some more of those vendor tables then, and be sure to not miss any of our fabulous main session speakers.
I love that. I love that there's so many options that you can bring your lunch and not have to wait in line. And I mean, even though it's all going to work out, it's all going to be great, but that's a great option to be able to bring your lunch and hang out and eat your lunch and that kind of stuff. So, what else is going on? What else do you guys want to share about coming?
The raffle.
I was about to say that.
Giveaways. Yeah.
Do you want to share some of those?
There's going to be a couple different giveaways, a VIP package to C3 Cryo Club where I work. There's going to be
what is that?
C3 Cryo Club cryotherapy, which has been a big tool for my mental health. I get in a chamber and I freeze for 3 minutes every day.
Nice.
So that's where I teach yoga, is at the Cryo Club, and we've got some physical tools, because physical services for your mental health, and my physical health affects my mental health. If I don't make it to a yoga class in a week, my husband will make me, because I'm so anxious without my yoga practice. So anyway, that's going to be, and they're going to be a vendor.
Yeah, I was with
So you'll be able to get more information on cryotherapy. But one of the giveaways is going to be a VIP package to the Cryo Club. And then we'll have a couple other, I'm really excited. My mom found these really neat books. It'll be for the parents, so it can go home with the kids, but they're like mental health books for children that makes it feel very like generic and acceptable and something that you can talk about without feeling like scientific with your child. So I think that'll really play into everything that we've been talking about.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah,
That's amazing.
some really cool giveaway items that you'll get a little ticket when you register, and then through the conference we'll be giving those away.
Wow. Okay. And then where is this happening at?
Oh,
Address and
Pathway.
like where are people going to?
Yes. Okay. So Pathway Church is our venue, and it's going to be awesome because they created this place, the crossing, where we're going to have all of our vendors, and it's perfect for what we're trying to do. But Pathway's here in Burleson off Renfro. It's 325 Northwest Renfro. And there's multiple entrances. They're all numbered. We will email out some information on where to go once you registered closer to the conference. So, you're going to be going to entrance number 1. Every single door at Pathway is numbered. So you're looking for door number 1 where you'll enter and get registered and then get the party started.
And what time does it start?
It starts at 9. It ends at 3. So we want you guys there with your butt in a seat as soon as possible. I'm saying like 8:45, but we are starting at 9 o'clock. So you can show up by
the doors
8.
open. Oh, doors
open at 8.
Okay.
We are going to be wrapping up speaking. I think Rachel is our final speaker for the day at about 2:10. And then at 2:10, you guys will have the option to go out into the vendor and the shopping. That's when we're going to have Morgan's ice cream. And then after you're done with that, you can either leave or you can head back into the sanctuary where my worship pastor, Joshua Miller, is going to be leading us through some worship songs. If that's something that's been a tool for me in my mental health. I feel a lot of peace of mind when I'm in the worship setting. So that's why we're kind of closing it out with that. And that's optional. And that'll be ending by 3.
Wow. Wow. This has come such a long way since the first time you guys were on. Right? Remember?
Yeah.
It was just
we didn't have many details to share.
We didn't.
But,
now
but
we do.
So excited about it, and rightly so. I mean, it was like a little seed, and then boom, it just
it has blossomed,
grew.
baby. It's happening.
It is, and I love the fact, Rachel, that you're talking about emotional regulation. I was just thinking about during the commercial break about men that I had a guest on here who was in the military and love the military, and I respect everyone men and women that serve our country. Thank God. But there were some things that, unfortunately, he, even through childhood, maybe was raised as a man not to cry. That whoever started that, I don't know who, but do not cry. You're a man. There's nothing to cry about. What are you crying for? I'll give you something to cry about. And he holds it in. He holds it in and just doesn't release that. And I think that when you come on to speak and share that, I think that will impact a lot of men as well as a lot of parents that have young boys. And I also think, because I know a lot of people that don't understand people with mental health, anxiety issues, they don't understand, why can you not just
snap out of it?
Why can you not just not be depressed?
Right. And I think where they're coming from is they're probably feeling a very temporary sadness or loneliness, and that passes for them. Or maybe they have just a tool within themselves that their resilience is just higher.
Mm-hmm.
Their tolerance is higher for stressful situations. And so for them, they can snap out of something very quickly, and they're unable to relate to someone who cannot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unfortunate, because what that person who cannot needs the most is compassion from people around them. And in our society today, unfortunately, the only acceptable emotion for men to express is anger, because that's powerful, manly, assertive, it's forceful. And so it really kind of goes with that masculine persona that, many men feel pressured to maintain this image. But what we really see is that many times men who are struggling with anger are struggling with anxiety, and their anxiety comes out as anger. And we see this in a lot of situations, but I see it a lot in addiction behavior. And so, no matter what your addiction is, there's some similarities. And one of those similarities is that desire to escape whatever it is that you're feeling. And sometimes when I have pulled back the layers with men in particular on, what led you to act out in this way, in this unhealthy way, this addictive way that you don't want to turn to this thing anymore. What led you there? And when we peel back the layers, many times it's an inability to deal with whatever emotion that was brought up through a stressful situation. And they end up acting out instead to escape that uncomfortable feeling that honestly they don't know what to do with. So I think it's really just a powerful tool to be able to not only name and identify your emotions and increase that self-awareness, but also to have influence over them and to be able to decide what you're going to do with them. And that's a little bit about what emotion regulation is about.
I love that
so much.
Yeah, for sure. And Rachel, if someone wanted to contact you for counseling, where are you based and how can they connect with you?
So the funny thing is that I'm actually not in practice anymore.
Oh,
So,
okay. Okay.
I am in full-time ministry. So I actually am a full-time staff at a church where I get to do something that I'm really passionate about. And part of that is a dream I had since I was 20 years old and, about to go to graduate school. And that is bringing mental health issues into the faith-based community.
I love that.
And so that is something I've been passionate about for a long time because my history was that there wasn't any, and that there was even a little bit of shame around a person who was faith-based and couldn't quote unquote overcome whatever their mental ailment was. And so fortunately, I go to a church where the pastor's wife is actually an LPC as well and in the mental health field. And so we care a lot about equipping people, parents, individuals. And so I get to do a little bit of that there. But what's great about being a counselor is that you have a lot of really great counselor friends. And so I do have a lot of good friends who are just trustworthy people that I've either worked with previously or had relationship with, as colleagues, friends. And so I'm happy to provide a list, a resource, whether that's through the comment section or through Rise. I know they would be more than happy to help moving forward.
That's amazing. I know that would. So if you guys have comments or questions, maybe need a suggestion of a doctor or counselor, you can certainly post those in the comments section here of this radio show.
Can we mention the resource list?
Please.
Everyone's coming. Everyone's going to get a resource list. So there will be in your bags, I believe we're going to stick those in there. And it's different types of assistance, like addiction counseling,
domestic violence.
Thank you. I'm like, there's 1,000 on there. Like, drawing a blank, but it'll be the name of the company or like the facility, and then either a phone number or an email address. So every person's going to get that. So if you're coming, you're like, I need a resource, but I'm a little scared to ask because it's an addiction and I'm embarrassed. You're going to get that. And nobody has to know why you get that resource packet because everyone's going to get it.
Okay. You can so see, I mean, being a person that has anxiety, you can so see, I can see how this was planned by someone who also, yes, very intentional. Oh my gosh. I see it. I feel it. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to attend and listen and all the things. There was one more comment. It says, give yourself some love, awesome opportunity. And it says in capital letters, rise to the occasion.
Oh, how have I not used that yet?
Right? That would be a great t-shirt.
Yes.
That is awesome. So anything closing that you guys would like to share? We still have 5 minutes, so we still have some time. But any other things that you're maybe wanting to share, super excited about? Ashley, Sarah? Rachel?
I think that we keep mentioning tools and toolkit, and I kind of wanted to talk about that for a second. Just if you don't really know what that might mean,
Please, yes.
because some of our speakers are going to be sharing a little bit of their stories and their mental health journey, and then what they use to break through. And so, quote unquote, their tool maybe. And then we talk about these breakout sessions as tools. We talk about the toolkit table being tools, but basically the tools are personal and different for every person, what you might use to cope with your mental health. So Sara uses yoga, Rachel might use worship, people use exercise or nutrition or prayer or journaling or art or music. The list goes on and on. Your sport, your friends, like that can all be your tools. So we're calling it a toolkit, but I've also heard it referred to as a tool belt. And it's kind of like, what do you need today to deal with your anxiety, your depression, whatever stressful situation? What tool, like maybe right now I can't phone a friend, but I can write in my journal. So I'm going to pull that tool out today and use that to work through this moment. So it would be great if we helped some people be aware of what their tools might be.
Yes, because some people don't know,
Exactly.
and oh man, that's such a good point. I know that, and I can use my daughter because she's very open about her mental health as well. And you guys are getting tons of hearts and stars, and 530 stars were sent, and wow. But I know that when my daughter went recently to see her doctor, that she told her, asked her about some things that she likes when she's feeling mentally well and healthy. And she said, well, I like to run, I like to exercise. So she said, okay, so what I'm going to want you to try to do, if you can, when you're kind of feeling not so great, I want you just to step outside, maybe just walk around the block or even walk just around the driveway and get all of those hormones and all that good stuff going, and it will help you. And so those tools are things that maybe some people didn't know. I can't remember if she knew or not, but now she's like getting up in the morning, she goes outside and she meditates. Absolutely.
And I have a feeling some of our speakers will talk about the why behind why does that work.
Yes.
But I love how Ashley and Sara know that one size does not fit all.
Yes.
And that what works for one person doesn't always work for another person. And I think of it as like building a muscle. You know, when you build a muscle over time by utilizing skills, that muscle gains strength. And then that muscle is strong enough to go into action when you need it.
Yes.
And so even the repetition of using these skills and these tools actually builds a foundation of being able to access that when you're down or when you're having a tough week.
Absolutely. Okay, before we go, I want you to give us all the facts. Tell us what the name of the conference is, where it is, what day it is, time, how to register, address, all that.
Okay, registration on the comments. It's also on the Sara Nicole Yoga website, the Reach Across Johnson County website.
reachjoco.com.
reachjoco.com. That's where you're going to go to register. It's free. It's Saturday, October 8th. Mark your calendars right now. If you haven't registered, register right now or share it with a friend. Please be there, you guys. Come get some peace and hope and tools. Maybe our logo should have been like a hammer and a wrench or something, but the rainbow is just a symbol of hope and peace rising up in the sky, and that's just there for us to see. And I'm so excited.
Excellent. It's free, guys. Log into that link. Saturday, October 8th at Pathway Church in Burleson, 325 Northwest Renfrew Street, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You guys come on. We'll see you guys later. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good night.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me